back. We are ready to take on the boss dungeon guardian thing. We've got our arena, we've got our campfire in the middle, and a blood moon started. I'm not real concerned. We can handle everything that the blood moon throws at us. I brought some good buff potions to help us out with this fight. I think I took all of them. We're going to try using that space gun for this fight. Alright, so this boss has 3 parts. He has 2 hands that he tries to smack you with, and a skull. You can kill the hands, or you can just focus on the main skull, whatever's easier for you. The skull pretty much just flies around. The hands are what you really have to watch out for. As long as you stay somewhat mobile, it's not going to be a problem. And then every now and then his head will start spinning and flying straight towards you. This is a good opportunity to get a lot of free hits in. The trick with the hands is just to watch for him to wind up. When you see a hand fly way off to the side like that, that means it's about to swing at you. So that's a good time to jump to a different platform or move side to side depending on what angle he is. He is almost dead. This has been a very smooth Skeletron fight. There he is. Not too bad. He didn't drop anything unique, which is kind of rare. He's got several unique items, some kind of grappling hook. That's okay. Not the end of the world. One interesting thing, or important thing about the Blood Moon event is the fact that the Deathblossoms bloom during the Blood Moon. The Deathblossoms grow naturally in the Crimson or Corruption of your world. So if you're in a Blood Moon event, it's not a bad idea to head on over to the Crimson or Corruption and get that stuff. Since they are going to be in bloom, that means that they will drop their seeds and we can plant some in pots back at our base. Also, I just picked up a black lens. Black lenses are much more rare than the regular lenses, and there's a few items that you can craft with them. It is not unusual for me to go through an entire game and only ever see one. So you definitely want to make sure you pick them up if they drop. On top of that, there's a summoner item that summons one of the more powerful summons in the game. That can only be crafted with a black lens as one of the ingredients, so very valuable item. It drops from the flying eyeballs at night. Alright, so we're in the Crimson. We are looking for the Deathweed. There's some right there. See if I can't mine over to it real quick. Alright, Deathweed and Deathweed seeds. That's what I'm looking for. Is there any more under here? Oh, also while it's blooming, I think it emits a light, which makes it easier to find. Okay, looks like that was the only one. That's okay. I think we got, what, 4 seeds? Yeah, we got 4 Deathweed seeds. So we got more than enough to start a farm back at the base. But even then, even when we have the actual seeds and the plants in pots back at our base, they still only drop their seeds during the blood moon. So you just want to kind of set them aside somewhere and make sure that you always try and harvest them during the blood moon so that you have a huge supply of deathweed. A lot of the better potions in the game use deathweed, so it's worth the extra bit of trouble to set that up. Alright, so with the guardian out of the way, we can now safely go into the dungeon without having to worry about the nasty skull showing up to kill us. All over the dungeon you're going to find these platforms with books on them, and books serve very little functional purpose. There's a few things that you can craft with books as a recipe, but for decorating your base, books are fantastic. They really add that sense of believability. So it's worth grabbing quite a few of them while you're here. This is the only place that you find books, but you do find a ton of them. Also, in the dungeon you will start finding these golden keys. That's because the dungeon has golden chests that are locked by these, and you need these golden keys to open them up. So definitely be on the lookout for those. They drop by a lot of the monsters here. You can also find them inside a regular chest. The monsters in the dungeon are very tough. They have a lot of hit points and they deal a lot of damage, and they spawn very rapidly. So you want to be very careful while you're here. Also, there are traps, and these spikes are everywhere. You can mine them to kind of what's it called? Kind of make the area safe, but it takes a lot of time to mine them at this point. Our pickaxe is not quite strong enough to mine that stuff. Main thing you want to look for on the bookshelves is more of the water bolt spell. We can come back and clean out all of the decorative stuff later, but first thing we want to do is find and unlock all the gold chests, because they contain the unique items. This Muramasa is something of a samurai sword. It has really good reach, very fast swing. It auto swings. Does less damage than our beekeeper actually. But it is a material component in a much better sword later on in the game. So that's a good find. We're going to take all that, use the hunter potion right now so we can see the enemies sneaking up on us. Now this chest here, this is a unique chest. This one's actually a crimson chest, and we cannot get the key to unlock it until much later in the game. But this dungeon will have one chest for each biome, and each biome has its own key, and each biome's chest has a very unique item that is very powerful. So we will be coming back to get that later. And there's a spell in this bookshelf here, another water bolt. Looks like it's a better version, so we're going to switch that out. Another thing that's unique to the dungeon, you see these blue candles everywhere. That is called a water candle. You definitely want to take those with you. Now what water candles do is they attract more monsters. They increase the spawn rate of the enemy monsters. So we want to take them with us for two reasons. One is it'll make it safer for us to explore the dungeon by reducing the spawn rate. It will also allow us to farm more efficiently in the future. Here's another NPC, the bound mechanic. You right click to unbind her and she will find her way back to your base. She'll probably die down here, but that's okay. Another one will respawn now that we've saved her, so that's okay. Anyways, she sells us wrenches, wire cutters, wire switches, a lot of stuff for setting up like electrical wiring and stuff. So she's a very good find. She allows us to set up traps, monster spawners, all kinds of interesting things. Okay, Keen Blue Moon, that's a, what do you call it? Can't remember the word, flail. It's an upgraded flail to whatever we had. Not really using flails. You can if you want, they're pretty good. I'll show you what they do. You throw it out, as long as you're holding down the mouse button, it'll continue to kind of bounce around like this. So in situations where we want piercing damage, they're very good. I also saw there's another NPC up here I want to try and save if he didn't die already. Anyways, that was the stylist. The stylist lets you change your hair. I think they also sell you dyes if you want to change the color of your hair. We'll find one later. Not real worried about it. There is an absolute ton of stuff you can get in the dungeon. There's unique furniture, there's paintings, there's just all kinds of cool stuff in the dungeon. So just be aware you are going to have to make multiple trips down here if you want to even scratch the surface of the cool stuff you can get. Ooh, Cobalt Shield. So the Cobalt Shield is another almost essential item in this game. What it does is it makes us immune to the knockback when we get hit. Let's see, what can I equip that? We don't need flippers right now. So now if I get hit, if this guy hits me, of course, trying to show an example, it doesn't work. Okay, you'll see, when next time I get hit, my character won't move an inch. See? The same effect can be achieved by using your grappling hook on the ground. Anything hits you while you're attached to your grappling hook, you don't budge. But you can't move around like that. Now this here shadow key, that is an important item for the next part of the game. Don't need it right now, but it allows us to open the chests in the underworld. Fortunately, we can use only one of them. It's not a consumable item like the golden keys. So these, what is it, bewitching table, when we activate it, it gives us a buff that allows us to summon an extra minion. So we definitely want to take both of those with us. You see that dungeon slime? Dungeon slimes always have a key inside, so if you see those, definitely go your way to kill them. This is a alchemy table. Gives a chance of not using ingredients when we craft something like a potion. Well, that looks like it's it for our first trip into the dungeon. We've opened all of the gold chests, and we have a very full inventory. Let's just recall out of here. Head back to base. And if you want to fight Skeletron again, you can equip this voodoo doll and then kill the clothier, which is this guy. He also sells you some clothes and stuff. But yeah, if you kill him, it'll summon Skeletron again. Okay, so I've got a lot of inventory to go through. Most important things, we got the Cobalt Shield, which makes us immune to knockback, and we got the Shadow Key, which will let us open the chest in the underworld, which is our ultimate goal for right now. There's a few things I want to do before we go to the underworld. First thing I want to do is find enough heart crystals to max out my health at 400. There's a few accessories that I'm missing as well. Most notably, there's boots that let you run really fast, and oh, and there's a magic mirror that replaces your recall potions. Both of those things I like to have before we go to the underworld. So I'll probably do that off camera, and then once I'm ready, we will dig a elevator to get down to the underworld and start exploring the underworld. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.